Alright guys, welcome back to No Recipe Required. We're going to do a very simple mushroom bruschetta today. First we're going to do the topping. So we've got mushrooms here. I've used shiitake and I've used just normal white button mushrooms, but really you can use anything you want. The key is really you want them all about the same size and dice them up about the same size so they cook at the same time, in the same time. So I'm going to take olive oil to our hot pan. A good amount, because mushrooms need a good amount. Let me get the coating there. I'm going to throw them in there. Spread them about. And like almost all this stuff, I immediately hit it with some salt and some pepper. And then a little pepper. These mushrooms, so the key to this dish is really to cook the mushrooms well done and get them to the point where almost all the juice, almost all the water has exuded out of the mushroom and they're going to get nice and crispy around the edges. Mushrooms are about 90% water, so it's probably going to take 10 minutes or so to cook them. After they get in, I like to give them a quick toss to get them coated with the oil. Now the other thing about mushrooms, initially they're going to soak up the oil almost like a sponge. And if you come in close to the pan now, you can see that there's almost nothing in terms of olive oil left on the bottom of the pan because the mushrooms have soaked almost all of that up. So, as needed, I just come in, I drizzle a little bit more in there. But then once it's in there and coated, I'm essentially going to leave the mushrooms alone now. Just like we learned on the searing side, I want to get a nice crispy golden layer on those mushrooms, let them cook down, and that's never going to happen if I keep fussing and mussing with it. So we're going to put it on medium heat and let it go for probably 7 or 8 minutes before we start turning them again. We'll check back then. Alright guys, welcome back. So we've had our mushrooms going for probably 5 or 6 minutes and I have not touched them at all. Other than maybe poke 1 or 2 here and there, make sure nothing is burning, which it isn't going to do because they take a lot longer to burn than most people think. So let's check them out. If look here as I turn the mushrooms now, so you're going to see the tops look pretty much the same as they did when I put them in the pan. Maybe just wilted and softened a little bit. But watch as I turn these around, you're going to see that piece of mushroom that was in contact with the pan has essentially gone brown on us. So check out maybe this piece right here, this one here. It looks very different than the piece that was upside, right? And that's that golden crispy sear that we're looking to get all around the mushroom. So now that we've got it on one side, we're going to toss them around. We are going to spread them out on the pan again. And it's probably going to go another 4 or 5 minutes. It's okay now to add some of our shallot into the pan. Those are going to take a few minutes to soften as well. And we hit it with a little bit of thyme as well. And just let it go. Again, it's probably going to be 3 or 4 minutes on this side before we're ready to add the balsamic vinegar. Okay, now it's time to finish off the mushroom bruschetta. What we've got here, take a look at these mushrooms now. You'll notice they are essentially fully cooked down. All the moisture's released from them. If you taste them, if you feel them, they're going to have a nice firm texture. They're not soft, they're not slimy, and that's because we cooked them enough. This is probably 15 minutes of cooking or so. The shallots and onion garlic that we've cooked down in there is nice and soft. We're going to do a little flavoring now with some balsamic vinegar. You don't need a ton in there. It's going to hiss a little bit. Once you go in with that, you're going to let it stir. You can smell it. It's going to hit you right in the face once you pour it in there. The mushrooms are going to pick up that flavor. You want it to cook just a few more seconds to get kind of that sourness that some of the balsamic have out of it. Let that cook out, and it's going to sweeten up. Then we're going to drop it off the heat. We're going to add just a little bit of finely chopped parsley that I have here. Toss that to just brighten it up a little bit at the end. And then we are good to go. Let me just grab a bowl. And I am we're going to put our mushrooms in the bowl. Now this you could do several hours ahead of time. I wouldn't even bother refrigerating it as long as you're going to serve it that same day. It is better the same day. But there you go. So what I've already done over here, just take a look at that, is I've got some toast points that I just made off by cutting off a French baguette into rings. I'm going to take a little bit of goat cheese, which I've got here, spread it on the toast. You don't need a ton of it or you're going to overwhelm the mushrooms, but a nice little bit to hold it on there. Let's maybe do 2 of these. And then you want to take a nice generous helping of the mushrooms, pile it up high on that toast point. Let me do that one more time. And then you've got these nice, fresh mushroom bruschettas to serve. Thanks, and I will talk to you next time.